Hello, fictional. Welcome to the Fiction Series X. Today we are gonna see, what if Issei was in relationship with Amano Yumma? Part 1. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Wahoo, I did it, I was able to keep a girlfriend for 3 months now, and our anniversary is coming up too. I should take her out on a good date, I'm sure Yumma would be happy. I think it started off in a weird way with her asking me out. I was even known to be part of the perverted trio, but now it's just the perverted duo, because Yumma taught me the error of my ways and making me a lot less perverted out in public. My friends, Mitsuda and Motohama, even met her and cursed me with every curse known to date because she was beautiful with her black silky hair, smooth white skin, and large breasts. Yes, remember Issei what Yumma thought you, don't be vulgar and rude. I am a bit sad that Yumma goes to a different school, so I can't see her that often, 2 maybe 3 times a week if I'm lucky. She even told her dad, Azazel, of me, although she didn't say we were a couple yet. Issei, what was the cause of the First World War breaking out and who were the first countries to enter it? The sudden question from my history teacher brought me out of my thoughts. I don't know sir, I hung my head as those words escaped my lips. History was one of the few subjects I'm bad at since you have to remember all the dates and who did what to who and why he did that and so on, it was hard to say the least. Of course not, is there anyone who knows? I stopped listening since the teacher was done questioning me, all I wanted was for the bell to ring, since this was the last class of the day. As soon as the bell rang I pulled out my phone and sent a text to Yumma of where to meet me for our date on Sunday. Sunday, still Issei Pav. I met up with Yumma at the mall at 1 p.m. sharp, I even came 20 minutes early to make sure I would not be late. Once Yumma came we headed out to look at the shops she liked so much, then we would go to an arcade with some dance games, and when we get hungry, we would go to a cafe and end the date with a romantic walk in a nearby park where you could see the sunset. See, I have it all planned out. Yumma wore a white blouse with a black skirt that stopped mid-thigh, the blouse showing just a bit of cleavage, her silky smooth hair was let down. I wore a grey blazer over my black school uniform shirt with olive green pants, my brown hair in a mess as usual. As the date progressed I could tell that Yumma wasn't really into it and that she looked kind of sad I guess even though she tried to put up a cheerful front for me, I could tell because we have been together for a while now. I didn't want to be pushy or anything, but if there is anything making my girlfriend unhappy or sad, I would do my best to solve the problem. So I decided to ask when we were alone in the park. I tried to cheer her up a little, so I bought her a wristband, a pink one, as a sign that I would always think of her. It seemed to work, but not for long. As we kept walking from place to place I could see her rubbing the band on her wrist. That just made me worry a bit more. At the park, Yumma and I were holding hands, sitting on a bench where we had clear view of the orange start descending upon the horizon. Her head was resting on my shoulder, and a sort of comfortable silence was enveloping us. As much as I liked it this way I had to know what was making her so sad. Say Yumma, what's wrong, you don't seem yourself today. I turned my head to look at her only to see a single tear go down her cheek and a silent sniff that made me angry and sad at the same time. Who dare make my Yumma cry? Please Yumma, I don't want to see a beautiful girl cry, tell what's wrong, I'll fix it, I promise. Yumma turned her head to look at me, I couldn't resist looking in her dark purple eyes and I swear I almost lost myself in them. The next thing I knew was that Yumma was kissing me. This wasn't like our usual peck on the lips, but a real kiss. I enjoyed the moment while it lasted, her lips tasted like strawberries, but she soon withdrew her head and whispered I'm sorry Issei. And I suddenly felt something stab me in the stomach. I touched with my hand where I felt the pain and felt my hand covered in a warm sticky red liquid. I looked at Yumma, but I couldn't feel mad at her or angry or betrayed. I fell off the bench, my back against the earth. Please forgive me Issei, I didn't want to, but the order suddenly changed to and she started crying and sobbing even more. I had no idea what she was talking about and I didn't care. I was happy to know that someone as cute and beautiful as her would be sad for my death. Listen Yumma, I'm not mad at you, I breathed heavily in between words. Don't cry, I want to see you smile one last time. She nodded and wiped the tears of her face, putting on a smile just for me and kissed my forehead. My eyes started to get blurry and I could see Yumma turning her back and some kind of wings appeared on her back. I couldn't tell which color because of the sunlight. Did I date an angel? She must have been one. Issei, you're the man. And then she just flew off, her wings flapping. At least I got a nice panty shot before my death. Damn it, I swear I sensed some holy energy around here. I heard a girl's voice. I wasn't able to look at her due to her voice coming from behind me, and even if I could it wouldn't be of any use. I bleed out too much already, a pool of my blood already forming on the ground beneath me. Oh, you're dying, no shit Sherlock. Some circles of red with all kinds of symbols appeared at my feet and I was bathed in some kind of red light. The circle passed through me and it looked like some kind of an EMR scan. It seems you have a sacred gear, but the scan won't tell what kind. Guess I'll just resurrect you and find out. What is your name? Issei, I answered, but how would she resurrect me? With much blood already lost, there is no way. She put something on my chest, and as she leaned down I could see her for the first time. What I saw was blurry, a head with big green dots, and what I guessed could only be her red hair. Ria's gremmery if I wasn't mistaken. Whatever she put on my chest started to sink in through my cloths and skin, and it felt like it dropped straight on my heart. It hurt like hell. I wanted to scream in agony and pain, but there was no more energy left in me. Whatever she did, I hope she was happy with torturing a dying man. The redhead closed my eyes and spoke. All I heard was a bunch of sounds, not even able to tell if she was even speaking Japanese anymore. With that I let out my last dying breath before everything went dark. I had woken up very suddenly and with cold sweat all over my body. I swear that was the weirdest and most scary dream I had so far. Anyway, better get ready for school. As I walked into the school I noticed that the girls didn't hate me anymore and that I'm on neutral terms with them now, so Murayama and Kadis don't even bother me about being a perv anymore. I met up with my two good friends inside the school, Mitsuda and Motohama. We met at the staircase that lead to the first floor of the new school building. As we stood there and greeted one another, the famous Ria's One-Isama walked down the same stairs as us and giving a long-lasting look at our direction. "Oh, did you see that Issei?" She totally looked my way. "She is beautiful, isn't she?" Mitsuda said, his eyes having hearts in them and ogling her while she continued down the stairs. "Yeah, I guess." M looked at me in shock like I had broken the most important law or something. "Issei, my boy, are you alright? You're not feeling sick, are you?" Motohama asked, his glasses almost falling of his nose. "Eyes, you know I have a girlfriend, so there is no way I'm going to look at another girl that way." I felt stupid, having to explain to them something they already know. "But girlfriend, I think we would have known had there been one." I gave them a daffy look since they even met her in person. "Dude, both of you met her in person, so WTF are you talking about?" They are acting like I don't have a girlfriend, so they could feel better about themselves probably. "I think I would have remembered her name if I were to have met a girl," Mitsuda said. "Fine, maybe this will jog your memory." I took out my phone and searched for my picture of Yumma. Strange thing was I couldn't find it, never mind, her number alone should suffice. And so I went through my contact list to find her number missing. I was frozen in shock. Could it be that I had dreamed 3 moths of my life and fell in love with my own imagination? No, this couldn't be. There is no more perverted trio, so it couldn't have all just been a dream. Something messed up is going on. See, even you can't find her. Maybe you're just depressed about being without a girl. But don't worry, your best buds are here to help. Later at my place we could go watch some porn. I have the new special edition of Magical Girl cosplay. Mitsuda tried to cheer me up, but I was too shocked to care about that right now. "Sorry guys, I can't today, I have something I have to do." "You're lost," they said in unison. Once the end of school came I rushed out and started going about town thinking. This whole thing was messed up. Could my mind have tricked me into believing I had a girlfriend and that all those dates really happened? As I kept wandering around I stumbled upon the same park where I had died. It had turned dark already. I walked up to the bench where Yumma and I sat and couldn't help but let a tear drop at the thought that I would never see Yumma again. Now what do we have here?" A strange voice spoke from behind me. It was clearly a man though. I turned and saw a man clad in a trench coat with a grey fedora. He was rather tall and looked like one of those trained rapists from a porno I once watched. "Ah, please don't rape," I yelled and took a step back only to find myself actually making a leap back. I turned once more and started running away from the man that came out of nowhere. Then suddenly feathers started falling from the sky, black feathers, like the ones Yumma had. "Yumma," I whispered to myself. The fedora-wearing man flew over me and landed right in front of me before I backed up once more. "This is why I hate low classes," the fedora man said. "This has got to be a dream again." "Yeah, this is a dream. No way on hell could this be real. There is no presence of your master or comrades. If I were to analyze the situation you would seem like a stray." Then don't analyze. There is no point in making such decisions. I don't think my witty comment will save me from him." The fedora man gave a grunt at my comment and raised his right hand where some kind of spear appeared out of nowhere. The spear seemed to glow in the dark, as if it was a source of light by itself. I turned to run once more, but just as I turned the spear pierced me through the stomach. I fell to my knees, the head of the spear going through me and sticking out. I screamed in pain and agony as I tried to pull it out, only to have my palms burned at the lightest touch. I'm sure the pain is unbearable, as light is like poison to your kind. Even though the first strike wasn't fatal, I'll make sure the next one is. The spear suddenly vanished, leaving a gaping hole in my stomach, the wound not starting to bleed like crazy. The pain was too much to bear and cold air touching my insides did not help me remain awake. Next to me a circle appeared that glowed a bright red light. From the circle a girl appeared, more specifically Ria's senpai appeared. I fell fully to the ground, unconscious. Normal POV. Ria shot out a ball of destruction to stop the fedora-wearing man from sending yet another spear at the body of her pawn. The man decided to take care of the bigger threat rather than finishing of a half-dead boy, so he threw the light spear at Ria's, but one of her servants appeared through another circle and blocked the attack for her. The person who blocked the attack was Taojo Kaneko, a rather small girl with short white hair and not endowed in the chest area unlike her master, Ria's Gremory. The spear reflected back to its owner, who as soon as he got hold of it, charged head first at the redhead. Fortunately for him, a lightning strike missed him by mere centimeters, at which he stopped his charge in order to back off. The one who sent the lightning strike was no other than Himejima Keno, another one of Ria's servants. She has waist-long black hair which is tied in a ponytail, her chest size seemed to rival that of her master's. Wait, red hair, you are Ria's Gremory, of the Gremory clan, correct? The spear the fedora man held vanished as he saw that he would not stand a chance in a 3v1. Indeed, who would you be, Mr. Fallen Angel? Ria's voice was neutral, and her face held that diplomatic smile one would use in negations. My name is Danasik, I did not know that the Gremorys patrolled this territory, is that boy part of your family? The fedora man, now known as Danasik, asked, implying to the boy that was still dying on ground. Indeed he is, so if you try to harm him anymore, I will not show you any mercy. The eyes of the redhead gained a predatory look as she finished that sentence. You should not let your servants wander around like that, I might kill them on an afternoon stroll. He tipped his fedora in order to hide his eyes from the predatory ones of the Gremory. The same goes for you, Fallen Angel, do anything similar and I will not hesitate to kill you. Very well, I will retreat, I do hope we never meet each other again, miss. With those farewell words, Riaz took the dying boy in her arms and teleported to his house where she could heal him properly. The next morning, Issei Pav, wake up master, wake up. Wake up master. My arm went for the alarm clock to turn it off. I have to get ready for school, but I feel so sleepy. Another strange dream, I mumbled as I started to stretch my arms. The covers fell off of me, and I discovered that I was in the nude. I never sleep in the nude. I should search for my cloths. I decided to check the rest of the bed as I might have just forgotten them somewhere under the covers. Once I removed the covers from the rest of the bed, I was shocked to see Ria-senpai, naked, in my bed. I fell off in disbelief at what just happened. What, how, why, when, Wait, Issei, don't panic, so brain, try and remember what happened. Did I lose my virginity? I hope not, that would be cheating on Yumma. Riaz then began to wake, her eyes opening lazily. Sitting up, she started to stretch just like what I did a moment ago. Good morning. She didn't even make any moves to cover herself up. Why are you here? Is this like a continuation of my dream? I screamed, still in a bit of panic. Riaz giggled at my antics. This is reality. All those things that happened are all real. I am Riaz Gremory, and I am a devil, and I am your master. Nice to meet you. Hi, do Issei-kun. Her smile at the end did nothing to reassure me. And what is this about being a devil? Issei, get up or you'll be late for school. The sound of my mother calling me, accompanied with the sound of footsteps on the stairs, made me go in a major panic. What would my mother think? I'm naked in my room with an equally naked girl I have never talked to before, and she is not even embarrassed about showing off her private parts. This is not going to end well for me. Mom, I'm up, so don't come in my room. You could hear the panic in my voice, but I didn't know what else to do. I could still hear her footsteps coming up the stairs. Shit, she isn't stopping. What do I do? What do I do? If I cover Riaz with a blanket, maybe mom will think there's a pile of cloths under it instead of a naked girl. I take the blanket and rush to cover her before mom could enter, but just as I was halfway done, with her upper half still naked, she walked in and froze where she stood. It's not what you think, I shout. Good morning, Riaz, you aren't helping me survive. Good morning. Stuttering, she closed the door and raced down the stairs, screaming, thing like honey, he has a naked white girl in his room. Well, fuck. How will I explain this to them? More importantly, what happened? Brain, remember what happened last night, and please tell me I didn't lose my virginity to her. Your family sure is energetic in the morning, talking like she doesn't have a care in the world, even when other people see her half naked. I can see. See what she asks? I had this huge urge to facepalm at that stupid question. Everything, now get dressed, I almost yelled in her face. What, you don't like what you see? Not that I don't, but I have a girlfriend, so please, for the love of God. A sudden headache hit me and almost made me lose my balance. You are a devil now too, so you shouldn't do things like praying to God. She stood up and went to a pile of neatly folded cloths in the corner of my room. Starting to dress herself finally. So how is your abdomen feeling? She asked out of nowhere. Wait, how do you know what I dreamed? I asked. It wasn't a dream. She turned to me, her breasts still out for the world to see. But I turned away since I was still naked and would rather keep my private part private. I am amazed at how your body is resilient. You took a serious injury and it almost hit your spine and healed in one night. That sure is something. She continued dressing herself. Next was the bra. Healed? I asked. Yeah, I bathed your body in magic during the night. Okay, but senpai, why are we naked? I asked again. I told you, I had to bathe your body in magic overnight to heal you, and to do that I had to embrace you in the nude, talking like it was the most obvious thing in the world. So the power of nudity saved my life, the logic is strong in this one. Could you hook the bra for me, came the question. Yeah, sure. After that I got dressed too and we both went down for breakfast. The weirdest thing is that my parents seemed to believe anything my senpai told them, thing like it was normal too for students to sleep naked together and similar lies. We walked to school together, although I was a bit reluctant too, since bad rumors might start at, and I would not want to get in trouble with Yumma. The students didn't take it well, they yelled in outrage and disbelief at how I stole their grade 1 Isama and the like. I tried to ignore as much as I could. I will send someone to fetch you later, okay, she said at the school gate as we went separate paths. But just as she went out of earshot, a fist connected with my face. Why was it you and not one of us, came the angry voice of Mitsuda. Wait, let's hear his explanation first, was the reasonable voice of Motohama. Motohama, have you two ever seen naked breasts right in front of you? I wanted to tease the fools and to get back at them for hitting me. After my warm welcome, the rest of the day was rather uneventful, not that I wanted it any other way. But just as class finished, the school's pretty boy walked into my class. I didn't hate him anymore because I had a girlfriend now, even if the number and pictures of her gone. All the girls were swarming around the poor guy, was he even able to breathe? I was sitting at desk too lazy to pick up my things and go home yet until Yudo Kiba came up to me. Hi, what do you want? He isn't a person I normally talk to, so I wanted to get straight to the point. I came here on the order of Ria's Gremory. So it's you she sent. I started getting up, slinging my bag over my shoulder. Lead the way, Prince, I said, and he nodded in return, leading off to somewhere. At least girls didn't that much protest at him leading me away somewhere, they were more like don't you dare hurt his feelings, and two boys, that could be kinda hot. I ignored the comments about two guys being together, as I am not gay. He lead me to the old school building. It wasn't used much, only for storage for things that couldn't fit in the new one, things like janitor supplies and such. But even with that, no one really comes here. We went up some stairs until we came up to a room that was filled with like pentagrams and circles and such. It all looked very occult, so to speak. The room was also nicely decorated, nice carpet, some very fancy couches, a glass coffee table, and is that a shower I hear in the background? On one of the couches sat a girl, short white hair, wearing the girl's school uniform. She was rather small and was eating a piece of chocolate. I think I saw her before. Before I could ask, Kiba walked in front of me saying that is Taojo Kaneko-san, she is a first year, and this Haidu is Issei-kun, he tells the girl. Nice to meet you was my nervous response. Now I recognize her, she is the unofficial school mascot because she is so damn cute. She looked at him, then at me, nodding her head as acknowledgement of my presence, and goes back to eating candy without a worry in the world. Out of nowhere came a girl with long hair tied in a ponytail, with an orange ribbon that came all the way to her thighs. Her chest is as big as Ria-senpai's if not bigger, and they jiggled all the time while she was walking to me. I wonder if she is even wearing a bra. So you are our new club member, it's nice to meet you. I am the vice president, Himejima Akeno, hope you have a nice time here. She gave a bow and giggled at the end, she really reminds me of Yamato Nadeshiko. I am Haidu Issei, it's very nice to meet you, rubbing the back of my neck while I stutter like an idiot for no reason. Akeno-san is also known as the school's second grade 1 Isama, with Sonar Suitor taking the 3rd place. I don't know why they are so popular, just because they are beautiful and have great grades and lots of friends and everybody likes them. Oh, maybe that's why. Ah, thanks for waiting, I didn't feel comfortable using your shower, so I took one here out of the curtains that I assume led to the shower, came Ria's, fully clothed in the academy's uniform and drying her hair with a towel. Yeah, no problem was my response. Okay, now that we are all here, let's take a seat. We all took a seat as Ria said. I sat next to Kaneko, while Kiba sat next to Akeno. Ria's was the only one standing, although she was leaning against a huge desk. We here at the Occult Research Club would like to honor your attendance. I have off some weird noise. The fact that they rejected me last year when I first heard of the club was still in my mind, and now here I am joining without even asking. So you could imagine how I feel. But the Occult Research Club is only a facade, something like a hobby for us. What do you mean hobby? Well, to keep the explanation short, we are all devils. That was very short. The black-winged man from yesterday was a fallen angel. Even though they were God soldiers, they held impure ideas and therefore fell from heaven. While controlling humans, they attempt to destroy us devils. I was listening to her intently, like someone would when talking about their favorite book. This all just seems too surreal to me and made up, but the effort she made to learn all that looks impressive. Aside from the fallen angels, there are also angels sent by God with the order to kill us. In other words, we are being attacked from all sides. You following so far? She asked all of a sudden. It kinda seems far-fetched. I didn't want to insult them, but this all sound way too crazy for my liking. Amano Yumma. At the sudden mention of my girlfriend I turned serious. You haven't forgotten her already, have you? You were a couple for like 3 months after all. I didn't like the look in her eyes when she mentioned her. It was like a hunter retelling his story of a great beast he slew. Where have you heard her name? Everyone else seems to have forgotten for some reason, but I don't want to talk about her here in the orc room. I stood up with the intention of leaving this place and maybe never returning. Out of nowhere Riaz put a picture of me and Yumma. We were on one of our dates. She was laughing at me as a pigeon decided to take a shit on me. At least he took a shit on my shirt and not my head. She did exist, that I know for certain. I put the picture of Yumma and me in my bag and sat back down. Okay, so they know something I don't, and she knows while others have forgotten for some reason. I think that is more than enough reason to stay and listen to what she has to say. She is a fallen angel, just like the man that attacked you last night. But my friends don't seem to remember her, and her phone number I cut her off, until she cut me off. She used her powers, just like I did with your parents, and when she had completed her job, she erased the memories of her from everyone around you, the redhead explained. Her job, I asked, but more like mumbled to myself. I was sure, no, I know for a fact that she loved me just as much as I loved her. There is no way that that was just a job to her. She really loved me, otherwise she would not have cried for an idiot like me. Her job of killing you? No, something is wrong here. She told me the orders suddenly changed or something like that. Maybe she was ordered to kill you because of the sacred gear inside of you, but then again, it would have been easier to bring you over to the fallen angel side and be one of them, so why? What is a sacred gear anyway? I only hear of it once when you scanned me before I died. Was I really killed for something I didn't even know I had? It is a power randomly given to humans. It believed that many with such powers had inscribed their names in history, Akeno explained. And sometimes people are given powers great enough to threaten the devils and angels, Riaz continued upon Akeno's explanation. Issei, raise your left hand. Huh, why my left? I asked. Or right, it doesn't really matter that much. So I raised my right hand, just out of spite. Yeah, just like that. Now imagine the strongest image you can. That's easy. I was going to imagine something when suddenly Riaz crossed her legs as she was leaning against the table. I could totally see her panties. Even if Yumma was made me into less of a pervert I still am, and the fact that I could see her panties so easily made it very hard to focus, if you know what I mean. XD. Focus, Issei, I told myself. Yumma is still out there, and she is the only girl for you, so don't be stupid and look at other girls like that. That's right, Issei. Focus, Riaz, you aren't making it any easier for me. I can't do it right now. There is too much stuff to take in all at once. I lied. There is no way I could admit her panties are the reason. But I just have one question, I said. This is just something that bugs me. If Yumma killed me, how am I still alive? I resurrected you. You, Issei, are now part of the Gremory family, of my peerage. As my devil slave, her hair moved, and from her back sprouted bat-like wings. They were huge and leathery. I don't like them. Yumma had much more beautiful wings, at least the parts I remember. After the wings sprung from the back of Riaz, it took not long for the others to do the same. From the back of everyone wings sprung, the same black and leathery bat wings. As wings appeared, I could feel this like itching sensation on my own back at the shoulder blades. It took me by surprise and almost took me off balance when a pair of the wings came out of my own back. I think that was when I finally believed about the devil stuff and that I was not human anymore. I'm making contracts with the devil. You can greeten your powers. Since people don't draw symbols on the ground to summon us devils anymore, we use these pamphlets to people who look like they would summon a devil. Riaz explains. Once my wings retract into my back and point at a large stack of said pamphlets. Usually our familiars do this, but since you are a newly resurrected slave, she said. Slave? And here I thought we got rid of all slavery around the world. I outed as I started to place the pamphlets in a bag. Well, that's just a technical term, even though almost no one treats their peerage members as slaves, since they do help in gaining you status in the underworld, and if you do well enough you can have your own slaves. Well, Riaz does seem like the kind of master that would be nice to her slaves, but still the lone thought of it made me a bit uneasy. To be someone's slave and to have to do whatever they tell you to. I don't need nor want slaves or a peerage, all I want now is Yumma, I said, with as much determination as I could master at the moment. Anyway, please do get on that job, at least she is polite, maybe she could be a real friend and just master. Once I finished packing the stacks of pamphlets, Riaz gave me a rock. I look at her with a deadpan expression. What am I supposed to do with a rock? Break into people's houses and leave a pamphlet there? That is a device that helps us locate people with enough dark desires who would be willing to summon devils and make contracts with, so that should be all. Off you go, she explained, and gave me the green light that I am all set and good to go. I went on a bike with a bag over my shoulders. I looked at the rock from time to time to look for the greedy and wetnut, but I was mostly trying to go around the places I went on dates with Yumma. Maybe she would be at one of them, waiting for me. Does she even know that I'm alive, that I'm a devil now? I hope that will not change anything between us. Maybe she would be at the place where I died, reflecting on her actions or I don't even know anymore. I'm racing around like a crazy guy trying to find that one special person. I must look pathetic. I'm just too happy and sad at the same time. At one point I know Yumma is real now, and the other is that she might not know that I am still alive. I got to the park where I last saw her, the love of my life. I sat at the bench where I was stabbed. I couldn't help but shed a tear at the memories with her and could only hope to find her again. I stood up, wiped the tear from my eye and walked back to the bike, motivating myself along the way. Enough of this happy crap, you need to man up, Issei. You can't cry over this since you will find her and be back with her, I told myself so I would cheer up, and thankfully it worked. I handed out the rest of the pamphlets and went back to the orc room. I finished the deliveries, I yelled as I entered the club room. Riaz was sitting at her desk looking over some papers and Kaneko was sitting on one of the couches eating ice cream. This little girl sure likes her sweets. Oh hello Issei, I have another job for you. Kaneko here has 2 contracts at the same time tonight, so you will have to take one of them for her. Riaz looked up from her papers. She didn't look as cheerful as before, maybe she was bored or doesn't like what is written on those papers. Yeah, sure my very first contract, well it's Kaneko's, but the first one I'm going to, so yeah. Thank you for the help, came the monotone voice from the white-haired loli who was eating her ice cream. Riaz called for Akeno to make me a magic circle so I would teleport to the contract's house. Raise your right hand, Issei. I did as she asked, and she drew something on my palm while some kind of red light was emitting from her index finger. After she removed her finger, a red glowing mark could be seen on my skin. That is the crest of the Gremory clan. It will allow you to use the Gremory magic circle for teleportation. So are you ready? The Redeed asked. Yeah, of course I am, I answered quickly. That's the enthusiasm I want to see. Now step into the middle of the magic circle and get yourself your first contract. I listened to what she said, walked over to the middle. The circle glowed a brighter red light until it was almost blinding. The light died down, and I was expecting to be in a different room with a single person in it. I was disappointed by still being in the same room as everybody else. They all had sweat drops on their heads as they looked at me. Well, if that won't work, you are going to have to use the bike again. Kaneko give him the address. The disappointment could be heard clearly in her voice. She expected it would work, and to honest so did I. I don't know what could have made it fail. I was given the address and sent with the bike to the client's home. What kind of devil is summoned by bike? I arrived at his house. It was a normal-looking apartment building with stairs that climb up to the apartments on the first floor. I knocked on the door and said, "Good evening, Mr. Morisawa-san." The tall man with long hair and glasses opened the door just enough to take a look at me before saying go away and closing the door right in my face. "Wait, you summoned a devil, right?" "I'm the devil you summoned for tonight," I yelled and banged on his door. "I only summoned Kaneko-chan, not some boy." The muffled voice of the man was heard through the door. I could understand the guy's confusion. He is used to Kaneko fulfilling the contract instead on some new guy. Kaneko had too many contracts today, so I was sent to this one while she attended some other one, I yelled back. There was a silence for a few moments. Maybe he was thinking of calling the police. I hope not. Please let this turn out okay. Why haven't you come from the magic circle like Kaneko-chan does? His muffled voice was heard once more. I'm new, so I don't know any magic yet, so I had to come by bike, I said, sounding kind of sad. The silence returned shortly after I said that, making me very uncomfortable and nervous at what would happen next. If this guy sends me back to Riaz, will I get some kind of punishment, or would I just keep handing out those pamphlets for all eternity? As those kind of thoughts kept going through my head, the door silently opened, accompanied by the man's voice saying, "Get inside." Mr. Morisawa made me a cup of tea before sitting on a chair at a desk. "So if you're a devil, you must have some kind of powers, right? Show them to me." The question took me by surprise. Powers? Just out of curiosity, what kind of powers does Kaneko have? Maybe I could do the same thing as Kaneko does for him, unless it's some perverted shit. The man reached over to something next to the desk and pulled it in front of his very fast while shouting princess cosplay while cradling me like a baby. He held some sort of costume in his hands that I would rather not describe. "You don't have to be a devil to do that," I countered. "Ha, a little girl like her, cradling like a baby. No one but a devil could do that." The smug look on his face annoyed me. But then it dawned on me, she cradles him while wearing that ugly uniform. What has been imagined cannot be unimagined. He put the costume back to where it was and repeated the question as before, "What can you do?" "I can't do anything yet. I was resurrected as a devil yesterday, so I have yet to learn anything magical and stuff like that." I decided being honest was the best thing to go about this. Nothing I could do about not being able to do cool thing with magic. "Then tell me how you got resurrected." The demand was wired and unexpected, but what else could I do right now? "Well, you know, get killed by your girlfriend who is a fallen angel, let a high-class devil find you by chance, and resurrected for no apparent reason, keep loving your girlfriend even if she killed you, you know the usual routine, trying to play it off as a usual way of turning into a devil. Damn, you sure have it hard, come on, talk to me." So I spent the night talking to Mr. Morisawa about what happened. I didn't mention any big names like Gremory. We talked about Yumma and how she feels and felt when she killed me. I still think she loves just as much as I love her, but I'm a little scared that that might be just wishful thinking. Time went late and it was time I go back to the orc and tell Riaz that I didn't get a contract because I forgot to ask the man. How stupid can I get? Well, at least the streets are empty so no one can hear me mope. Just as I thought I was alone I felt the presence, a holy one at that, from right behind me. I turned to look at what gave it off and saw a woman with huge breasts and exposing a huge amount of cleavage. She had a scary expression on her face and I don't want to deal with her, or to be more precise, I don't want to almost die a second time. The blue-haired woman was walking towards me while saying, "It seems as though I don't have the wrong person, you are the same empty husk that was ordered to be killed, how strange." As soon as she said that I knew that she knew Yumma, otherwise she would not have known about the order, right? But either way, this doesn't look so good for me right now, because if she knows Yumma then she is probably a fallen angel like her. "Why are you still alive? You were supposed to be dead," she yelled and showed of her fallen angel wings. She materialized a yellow spear of light and threw it straight at me. I quickly jumped to my left, narrowly avoiding being skewered for a second time. "The Grimory crest," she shouted in shock. "If you have that crest that means I only have more reason to kill you now." A huge-breasted woman flew into the air, preparing another light spear to throw at me. "I can't die again, I need power to defend myself, power to beat her, yeah, I will not die now, I will stand and fight like a man. Give me power," I shouted, and suddenly on the back of my right hand a green jewel started to glow, and a red kind of glove, no gauntlet, appeared on my hand. It has 2 yellow spikes on either side of the stone, and it covered my whole backhand. As I summoned my sacred gear it seemed to have summoned some kind of powerful wind which blew away the enemy and almost blew away her cloths. "I cannot fight you now, I have to report this to the Great One," she yelled at me one last time and flew away to who knows where. Too bad I couldn't question her, I would have asked if she knew Yumma or her whereabouts or anything related to her whatsoever. Anyway, I decided to get back to the orc and tell Riaz of this, maybe she can make something out of this. Orc, yeah, that is a sacred gear, once activated it is controlled by the will of the user. I was showing this red gauntlet to the rest of the orc. I concentrated on making it disappear and to my surprise it worked, it vanished into thin air. Nice, and here I was wondering what would I do if it didn't go away, I said nervously while scratching the back of my head. Now, this encounter puts us in a bad position, now the fallen know that you are resurrected as a devil. I don't think so, maybe she knows Yumma and will tell her that she saw me, or that she failed her mission in killing that kid or whatever. She will hear that I'm alive, and maybe that will help me in my search, I said, sounding as optimistic as possible. Well, from your viewpoint sure, but as long as they don't target you again I'll be happy. The sigh escaping from her lips was a sing. She meant what she said. After that little talk with President, I went home and thankfully no one tried to kill me, again. I wonder has it become some kind of sport to the fallen. It had been 3 nights in a row that I have been attacked and only Yumma has been successful in killing me so far. I wonder if she won the competition. I made way to my room, I was trying to be very positive about the little fight with the fallen angel girl. I so hope she knows Yumma and tells her. As those hopes of mine lingered in my mind I changed into my pajamas and went to sleep with a smile on my face and thoughts of Yumma in my mind. Next morning, the alarm woke me up like usual, this time it was of a girl threatening to tickle me to death. I bought that alarm 2 years ago and it's still working with no problems whatsoever. The mornings started like any other before I became a devil. Which meant no nightmares and no naked girls in my bed, which meant no misunderstandings with my parents. I ate the breakfast mom makes for me every morning and went to school without any questions from my dad or mom. This whole devil thing seems like some kind of weird dream when nothing supernatural happens in the morning and everything is as it should be. As I was walking to school I hear a girl scream out in pain somewhere to my right. I looked and saw the girl dressed in a nun uniform with her ass sticking up in the air as she fell. She sat on the floor rubbing her sore spot and mumbling, "Why do I always trip over something?" Being the gentleman that I am I decided to help her out. "Are you okay?" I asked as I approached her, my hand already outstretched to help her get up. She took my hand and stood up, but just as she did so a strong gust of wind blew the veil off her head, revealing her long blonde hair. And all I could think in that moment was how cute she was. There was a kind of awkward moment right then, as she held my hand for a bit too long before she realized that she should let go. And just as she let go of my hand another gust of wind blew, blowing her veil away. I ran after it and caught it before it could go away. "Thank you very much," the blonde thanked me once I returned the veil to her. "No problem." I turned to walk away and continue my walk to school, but something seems to have caught my shirt. "I'm sorry but I seem to have lost my way, could you help me?" she asked, a slight blush on her face make her look even cuter than before. I was debating whether I should help her or not. On one side I would be late for school, but on the other side, I could hear Yumma's voice telling me I should always help a girl in need, so I decided on the obvious decision. A few moments after the blonde picked up her bag and we started walking together in some random direction. I started with some small talk, wanting to know who I'm helping out. "So what is your name?" I started with an obvious question. Oh, I'm Asia Argento, but you can call me Asia, her tone was cheerful as she answered. I'm Issei Haidu, you can call me Issei. Okay, Issei-kun. So are you on vacation? I asked to keep the small talk going. No, I'm not. I was transferred to this town's church. So she is a nun then I guess. That means she is my enemy, but she just seems so innocent to be of any kind of harm to any living being. Oh so, you're a nun, that explains the clothing. I voiced half of my thoughts. Thankfully I met a young man as nice and kind as you. Her words made me blush, I just nice because Yumma taught me how to be. If it weren't for her I would still be a perverted bastard. As we were walking a crying boy was heard next to us in a park. The boy seems to have fallen and injured his knee, it was covered on blood. Asia ran to the boy as soon as we hear him. She leaned in close to the boy's injury and some green glow and rings appeared at her hands. The green glow brightened and the injury started to close. As Asia was healing the boy a strong kind of pulse ran through my right hand. The blood vanished and the skin was appearing out of nowhere a few seconds later and the wound was completely healed. The boy stopped crying and looked at Asia with awe. There, the wound is all healed up now and remember big boys don't cry, she told the boy and joined me once more on our walk to the church. My right hand reacted when she healed the boy, maybe she has some special powers or maybe she too has a sacred gear, I wonder. I must have surprised you, she started out of nowhere. No, you sure have some amazing powers there. They are, because God bestowed them upon me. The cheerful tone in her voice never wavered, like she is always in a good mood. We walked on in this kind of silence, it was kind of weird if you ask me. There is the place. Asia pointed at the church that was now visible because it's on a hill. Thank you Issei-kun for your help, would you like to accompany me there, she asked. To be honest I wanted to, but it gave off such a strong holy aura that it made me nervous, even from this far away. That and I still have school to attend. Sorry, but I have to go to school. As soon as I said that she looked kind of disappointed. Well if you ever have time, please come and visit me at the church, promise okay? Yeah, sure, see you later. I waved goodbye to Asia as I was leaving to school. The road back was rather uneventful, which in my case means it could not have been better. After classes, never go near a church again. I was being scolded by Riaz, again. The two of us were alone in the clubroom, she was lecturing me and I was just standing, listening. To us devils the church is considered enemy territory, she continued. Maybe that's what I felt earlier, I said, remembering the feeling of going relatively close to a church. That must have been your devil instincts kicking in, telling you that it's dangerous. I just kept silent. It's like that moment when the teacher lectures about something that you did bad, but you can't do shit about it. When a devil is near a church the problem of devils and angels becomes much bigger and you never know when the spears of light will come down on you. There was a moment of silence and I thought about what she said. Maybe I should be a bit more careful and hell maybe I should be a bit more selfish and greedy from now on. I am a devil now after all. The church's exorcists are also able to have sacred gears and when someone exorcises you, you feel nothing, you see nothing, you are nothing. You wouldn't exist anymore, not even a body would exist. Damn, I don't want to become nothing. I still want to live and stuff like that. I should take this stuff more seriously from now on. Anyway, just be more careful from now on, please. Yeah, sure. But that Riaz left, going off to God knows we. Ouch. I hate being a devil sometimes. I sat down on the couch, thinking about everything that Riaz just said. I shouldn't help random nuns, but it's my nature to be nice to people now. Most of my perverted self is gone now, and thanks to that I don't get beat up by the kendo club on a daily basis, they don't even bother me anymore. I can even have normal conversations with Kadis and Murayama now, which is a nice change from the hard kendo swords. Mitsuda and Motohama on the other hand continue on their way and are hated more every day. I wonder if I should help them with that. Well anyway, it seems like I'll be staying away from the church, hopefully Asia won't mind me not visiting. You know that Buchu is only concerned about you. I looked at who spoke after they scared the shit out of me. The Keno-san, damn, that girl can be silent, like a ninja I tell you. The doors to the room opened and in came Riaz once more. The Keno, I thought you had already gone home, asked the redeed. We just received word from Taiko, apparently a stray devil has been found the city. Scene change. Well fuck me, apparently if I use a magic circle together with any other member of the peerage I can use it normally, but if I'm alone then no. I suck at magic. Anyway we are here, near the entrance of an old abandoned storehouse, such cliché. The reason why we are here is because some stray devil was found. Whatever a stray is, it sounds dangerous if the whole peerage has to go to get rid of it. Strays were once slaves, like us, but they decided to betray their master and live as they please, Kiba explained. Who knew that he could be good for something else, other than making all the girls in school swoon over him. Okay, so we received information that this stray devil has been luring man and eating them. It is our job to get rid of it. Riaz explained why we are here, but one bit of that information unnerved me. What do you mean by eat, I asked, but my question went unnoticed by everyone. We entered the building. It is dark inside, but thanks to being a devil I could see pretty much everything fine. The storehouse is rather empty, some scattered picture frames, chairs, shelves, but nothing much other than that. Without a master the stray can use its demonic powers without restraint, so be careful, Kiba warns me. Issei, what do you know of chess? The sudden question confused me, since I have no idea what chess has to do with anything right now. Like Chinese chess or European, I asked to make sure no misunderstandings were made. European. Not much, other than the pieces and the way they move. What was she trying to get at right now? We have a stray nearby and I'm a noob when it come to something like this. She should make sure I learn some moves to fight with. As the master I'm the king, you already know the other pieces, the queen, 2 knights, 2 rooks, 2 bishops and the 8 pawns. Well yeah, wait a minute, does that mean we are like chess pieces, or just that to the higher ranking devils, figurines? I'm starting to dislike the devil society more and more. The high-ranking devil can give special powers to his various pieces. Special powers, I asked. This is starting to feel like a video game. It's like you are building your own fighters and letting them fight for you, kinda like Pokemon. We call this technique the evil pieces. And why is that, I asked. Anyway, tonight, take a close look at how devils fight. My question was completely ignored once more. If they continue like this, I might just turn into a stray. I smell something sour, but I also smell something delicious. Are you sweet or are you bitter? The voice was female, but it sounded twisted, as if she was being possessed by some kind of evil spirit or something. And then she came out from behind a wall. The first thing I saw is her head. She has a pretty face, no doubt, shoulder-length black hair, and she is completely necked. Her breasts for the whole storehouse to see. The upper half was fairly normal, but it's the other half that is disgusting. Her lower half was like one of another humanoid. Her upper normal body was acting like the head of another body. It had huge claws for hands and like its legs are very furry, and where the abs would be are some kind of lines. I don't know how to describe it, but it was definitely not a six-pack. For some reason she kept fondling her own tits. Stray devil Vice, you have betrayed your master and let your powers run rampant. You will now face judgment for your crimes. In the name of the Grimoire nobility I will destroy you. Well, Riaz gave a totally cliché speech of defeating crime. What a little bitch you are, I will color you all red just like your hair, the demon said in protest. She laughed and fondled her breasts even more. As she did so I could see some small red circle around her nipples. The circles grew bigger and started spinning around her now hardened nipples. I feel so ashamed for writing this TT. Are from her nipples shows some kind of yellow thing. I knew it wasn't milk for sure. Riaz turned to me and made me take cover from the liquid, the other already doing the same. Once it passed over our head it hit the wall and started dissolving it. Okay, she is a monster, I said in disbelief, as I just saw a solid concrete wall melt in front of my eyes. You can't let your guard down, Riaz warns me. Udo, she called out to the blonde. Tiba held his sword and made a running position and just disappeared. Where the hell did he go? He's gone, I voiced my thoughts. No, he is just too fast for you to see him. Udo position is knight, which means he specializes in speed, and his weapon of choice is a sword. As Senpai was explaining this to me I saw Kiba appear in front of the stray devil Vice, and with 2 swift strike, he cut her huge arms off. As Vice was shouting in pain, Kaneko decided to just plainly walk in front of the monster of a devil. I wonder if she has lost her mind. She is small, the stray could literally just stomp on her and be done with her. But that didn't seem to bother the white-haired girl. I shouted out to her to be careful. Vice's face morphed, making her teeth longer and pointer, and just plain ugly now. The lines on her stomach now moved and opened. Daffik, are those teeth on her stomach? Kaneko still didn't move even after seeing this. She that girl crazy. Kaneko move, I shouted out in worry, not wanting to see one of my new friends eaten alive. But despite my warning Kaneko did not move and let herself be taken into the mouth of the beast. Don't worry, Kaneko is a rook. Her specialty is very simple, she can defend against any attack and her attacks are stronger than Kiba's. Riaz tries to reassure me. I could see the mouth opening, but not by the will of Vice, those lips were forced open. Kaneko is standing there keeping the mouth open, her clothes were torn on some places and she was covered in spit. See, she is not even flinching, damn, that is scary. For a lowly like her to be able to do something like that. Kaneko punched the stray devil and sent it flying towards a pillar, breaking it. Thankfully the ceiling didn't come down on us once the pillar broke. Bakeno, your turn, Riaz shouted. Bakeno stepped forwards while saying oh my. What should I do, I wonder. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw one of the arms that Kiba had sliced off twitch. My arm moved and jumped in the direction of Riaz. I activated my sacred gear and punched it just before it managed to hit my master. Riaz fell on her butt out of surprise. She didn't expect me to come out of nowhere and hit something that was about to attack her. Thanks you, she has a face of pure surprise. I held out my hand and helped her up. Bakeno, finish her off, Riaz commanded. Those who try to put their hands on my president without permission will be punished. Her face became a lot more scarier and between her hands started lighting to spark. To hell, I should stop being surprised by all of this. I should expect for people to have some kind of superpower or something along those lines. Akeno is my queen, my invincible vice president of the orc, with powers unmatched by the other pieces. Her specialty is magic attacks. So you are still alive, then how about this? Akeno shouted. She summoned lighting out of nowhere and used it to shock the stray devil. And on top of that, she is a supreme sadist. Ria's finished, a sweat drop on her face. Akeno, on the other hand, now has a bright red blush on her face. Oh my, you are still alive. I wonder how much more of this you can take. She licked her lips and continued to shock it with lightning. That will do, Akeno. Akeno stopped her attacks. She turned around and coaxed her own cheek already over. What a pity. Note to self, never, ever piss of Akeno. She will torture you. The stray devil, on the other hand, looked quite crisp after her shocking experience, her hair smoking, her cut-off arms bleeding like a waterfall, broken parts of her teeth everywhere you look. This certainly looked like a murder scene. Riaz walked forward, facing the devil who was on the ground barely breathing. Do you have any last words? Riaz asked. Vice was somehow able to turn her head to look at the red and uttering at two simple words, you bitch. Doesn't matter, it's your time to be extinguished. A red magic circle forms in front of Riaz. It was as big as her. Tech made out of the circle came some kind of energy. It was black with a kind of red aura. It shot out, completely covering the stray that was taken care of. As the black energy disappeared, so did Vice. There was no trace of her, like she vanished into thin air. Okay, so this is over now, time to go home, guys. Yes, Prez, we all answered in unison. Wait, Ria-senpai, what piece am I? You never told me. I was curious to know, was I as fast as Kiba or as strong as Kaneko? A pawn? What now? A pawn? I am a pawn. The pawn is the one up front, and there is 8 of them, so you can sacrifice some for the greater good. Great, I'm a throwaway piece. No one spoke after my question was answered, as if it was the most obvious thing ever. I mean, really, what other piece could I be? I have no special powers like Akeno or Kaneko or Kiba. I didn't ask anything after that because there was nothing left to ask. Everyone has gone home with a smile on their face after having successfully completed a mission, everyone but me. End of the part 1. So how was this story? I hope you like it. And if you like it, share this story with your friends and like the video too. And don't forget to subscribe our channel for daily awesome fanfiction. Okay, it's time for me to go. Bye bye.